Welcome, Geminis. Thank you so much for tuning in to your July reading. End of July reading. I wasn't able to do your reading for July just yet. And the longer the time went on, I was like, maybe I should just, move on towards the August reading and just make them a little bit longer. And I was like, I woke up this morning, I was like, no, I'm going to do them forever, whatever messages want to come true for the end of July. Obviously, I also told Aries and Taurus, who also had to wait on their reading, energy is fluid, and so whatever message come true, I do believe obviously that it's applied more and way beyond like July. So let's just see what comes through for you. So overall, Gemini, I'm sensing this energy of, if you could choose, you would just take some time off at an island where hardly any people would be around. You could just be and do all the things that you feel and you make you feel good. Like you kind of feel like checking out. But then there's this other feeling where you're like, I just can't, like I'm hearing the world needs me. And we do need you, Gemini. But I feel that there was this stream that was, taking you away from the position that you, of sort of the duality, like the you that you are with like your really close people, and the you that you are when it comes to you researching things and making sure that, that side of you is nourished, and that you are, when you're in your high energy and when you're just, doing the things that make you you. And then there's the you that shows up in the world, at work, in your a little bit more maybe distant family or friend group, or, maybe you are in some way, shape or form a coach, or, people that listen to you, look up to you and things like that. So I feel like that thing that got nourished in like, your close surrounding kind of took up more space, of kind of started to sort of flow into the you on the, the role and the thing that you play in the outside world. And so the things that you felt, maybe you feel like you just naturally are on the outside, or that you just feel like you have to be and have to show up as, just wasn't sitting right. So I'm feeling this little bit of this going back and forth, like, do you, who you are, what makes you happy, and then the trying to define that in a new way, trying to find a better balance basically, and really looking at those things from a deeper perspective, like who are you and who are the people around you, what do you do for them, what do they do for you, by just simply being present in your life. So the King of Swords, definitely like having, I'm gonna put it down a little bit, the volume, really having an honest look at that, it's like where is the balance. And I feel like you have also are coming into a position where you have that mental space again, where you feel like, your mind is not only on survive, like when we are in this space of like, we just need to get through it, we just need to survive. It's just about staying in one place and not going, below it, not being taken under. So if everything is there, it's kind of it takes up all the space in order to stay where you are. But then if you stay too long where you are and you're not growing or expanding, what happens, there's this energy of like, it just depletes your energy. It's like you need new things or movement or growth to come true. So the King of Swords, the Empress, it's like it shows you, in order to harvest, in order to feel like you are in a good position, feel like you are ready to take on that leadership role, feel that you're ready to show up as that. With you guys, you have a little bit like Libra as well. It's like you guys have this natural charm about you, this natural energy of like, you know, people kind of, you know, want to get to know you, or they, on the opposite end, because you have this energy, they feel kind of sort of threatened by you, so they try to challenge you, or they want to be like you, or it's just a lot of different levels to that. And I'm sensing that sometimes by being who you are, Gemini, you sometimes get a little bit far removed from what you actually need from those relationships. What are your needs in that? What do you need from you? What type of energy and space do you need for the things that actually put you in a position where you are a great leader, where you are, you know, able and capable of helping people, of giving them good advice. And then when you do, and you get sort of removed far away, what happens is rebellion energy comes up. So all of a sudden you do something a little crazy, maybe, but just like radical almost, because it's this side of you is like rebelling against that. Like, we cannot become what we're trying to teach, you know. And that, not, let's say you are a leader, and then you because you are putting yourself in that role and you're surrounded by followers, you become a follower. Then who is the leader, right? So of course, another statement which is very much true is that you're just as much a teacher as you are the learner. You know, you are the student as much as you are the master, the teacher. But it's like becoming what you're moved away from, but because then you step into that space of being surrounded by that, it's like, let me put it in such a way where maybe it makes a little bit more sense. For example, someone who went through a great deal of like trauma and things like that, and maybe they end up in a period of time where they really were addicted to some substance or some way, shape, form, some self-sabotaging behavior, and they went through like the rehab process and the healing process and moved away from that and no longer identifying with that as such, but are forever, you will be in recovery. You know, it always continuously takes work. Then that person at one point, you know, comes into a space of their lives where they're ready to sort of share the knowledge and wisdom, and because they went through that journey, they're now capable, for example, working at a facility where, you know, a rehab facility or whatever, where they can actually have those conversations with people who are where they used to be, right, where you used to be. So then in that space, sometimes when you are surrounded by people who are where you used to be, and you're just there so much, sometimes it can affect the person who is there to help along the process. But it doesn't mean that they won't have moments where when it's around too much, you know, they might find themselves back in certain behavior, back in certain way of thinking and responding. So it's good to have a healthy balance. You know, you cannot only be that and immersed in that. Of course, you're given a new, you know, dimension and new levels, and it makes you a better teacher because you know how it feels, because you know how that works, and to overcome those things. It doesn't mean that it doesn't sometimes affect you and takes you different places. So I'm sensing that that's something that it's out of protection that you have that rebellious moment, you know. So I'm sensing there's a little bit more of a balanced energy come through, because where we're moving towards is really that Pentacle energy. So Pentacles is it's more stable. It has more grounding to it. It's like the things that we can see, touch, smell, work on, invest in, and see growing and things like that. It's a lot with the physical sense. So you're taking things out of your mind into the physical world. So sometimes when our mind is overstimulated or just really full and crowded, doing something with our hands and really focusing on energy there, it kind of helps us clean house up there, you know. And that can come in many ways. Like, for example, with me, I'm a water sign, like really true and true. I'm earth, yes, but mostly water. So when I'm doing dishes, doesn't matter where I am at, I make that a very meditative energy for me. Like there's no like other way, for example, with me to absorb information like it is when I'm working with water. When I'm, for example, doing the dishes or cleaning something and I'm having something in my ears, I take up information so much better because it clears out space. It brings me in a certain meditative state, and for everybody it's different. For some of us it's like really through the breathing and really sitting still and having that moment. For some of us it's more like in movement. So it's not a one size fits all. And I believe there are two different sides to you, you know, obviously to every one of us, but for you it's more dominant in the sense of that there's a side of you that gets nurtured by actually that stillness and that awareness and all of that. But there's also this side of you that really, you know, is able to think and feel clearly when you are out there doing it, when you're doing something physically. So to understand that about yourself and having a deeper insight and not allowing yourself to be taken by life, by circumstance, by other people, by their traumas and their grief or their things, you know, to not take you away from that center space too much, or knowing exactly how to get yourself back in that center space as the Empress is. When the Empress is not on her throne, she's out there somewhere in the field. It's like, you know, the whole point about the Empress is that she's found her center, found her place, that where she's at, things come to her because she worked on getting herself in that position, so she attracts it to her. Now, if she's trying to attract something to her in this space, in this field, and she's nowhere to be found, and things arrive, they still don't find her, right? So it's like, when she sees something in the distance coming to her, she's not getting off that throne and running towards it like, I see you now, like I got you now. No, it's like we're not chasing anything. It's like nothing can move her off this throne. Nothing can take her away from that center space, because she knows that that's her. She earned that. You know, through doing the inner work, through understanding her worth and value, through understanding the true art of giving and receiving, and a natural law and a natural flow that flows there. And what happens when you are in that center, when you're grounded into who you truly are, when you know your true intentions, when you give from a place of love, but you also really feel like, I deserve to receive just as much, with an open heart. Because you value yourself, you value what you bring, you value who you are, you value your heart, you value your quick-witted, you know, mind. You value what you have to offer just as much as you value yourself, and with that, it puts you in a better position to receive. Because if someone doesn't give you what you feel you receive, often we reflect that back to ourselves and our worth. When someone doesn't treat us with respect, we feel like we reflect it back on ourselves, on our own worth. But learning how to reflect that back to another person, and that's apparently the journey that they are, and that's apparently where they are at. And it has very little to do with who we are. Or sometimes it has to do with who we truly are. Like we are that much, like we are that powerful and that strong. And that's why people feel, you know, like they want to diminish it, because they feel like they can't get there themselves. So they don't want other people to be there, because then they feel threatened by it. So the Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, like you know exactly how to take one little idea and turn it into I'm gonna like use the freaking empire. Every single time someone in one way, shape or form takes something away from you, you can rebuild, you can recreate it, because it's all within you. It's a very powerful position. Understand this natural flow. Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. Every single time you're capable of regrowing it. no matter what. But it only way where this stagnates and where this becomes a continuous cycle of hurt and neglect is when you allow life circumstances or people and their limitations of giving and of recognizing the worth in other people, when you allow that to divine you and divine your worth and get in your head. And that by itself can become a lesson, right? That by itself can be one of those coins that you gain. It's like when things get to you and they do intend to affect you and how you see yourself and what you feel about yourself. And getting yourself out of that by itself, once again, puts you in a position that it's that lesson. It's how we learn, how we grow. Let me just quickly pick up one of these cards. Yeah. So basically this card is saying you've asked for help. Now it's also important that you open up to receive that. Because you will receive that inner guidance. You will receive that support. But what is important is that you feel worthy of that support, that you feel worthy of that guidance, when you feel that, you know, the things that show up in your life in order to help you forward, that you feel worthy enough in order to receive it. With Fiona, and it's not in English, so I had to sort of take it in and work it with that. So I'm pretty sure that you can look it up. Meaning of that. Okay, so sources and receptivity. You are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. Wow. Once again, Gemini, you are a magical person who can manifest. Once again. Your clear intentions into reality. It's the intentions you have. You say, allow yourself to receive. Wow, once again. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. Wow, this reading, man. They continue to just say the same thing over and over and over. Gemini, you deserve to receive, open to receive, and understand that that can only make you better or put you in a better position to give and to help to others. You know, it's not true completely neglect our own needs. We are the best mother, best sister, best brother, best son, best whatever. And it's often, we live in a society where that is being applaud. It's like the worker that shows up at 6 in the morning and leaves at 8 and, you know, neglects all its own needs and things and never goes on a break. That's the one who's like hanging on the wall with like, you know, worker of the month. Yeah, well, you know. So it doesn't always mean that through the validation that the system has made up, that is the true definition of someone who's worthy, you know, or that it's like, in the end of the day, if you don't feel neglected, if you feel neglected and not nurtured and appreciated by yourself, and that will give you those results in the real physical world, it was never yours to, you know, call your own, because it took you away from who you truly are, and it took you away from your self-love and self-respect, and it made you neglect all your emotional, physical, and spiritual needs. We don't want all trophies, you know. Eventually, if a trophy takes away, you know, the other things that are actually really truly important, we don't need your trophies. Okay. All right, one more tarot card please for my Geminis. What's an advice energy that comes through? Yep, it's about having your intentions set and just pointing it towards it. work towards it. With Judgment is here, it's like understanding that you have divinely guidance beside you. Open up towards that guidance, follow it, trust it, and know that you're deserving of it. They're really letting you know, like, if you're asking us for help, allow us to help you. Feel like you're worthy of that help. Feel like you're worthy of receiving the resources that you need in order to make this happen. Steady, one thing at a time, but consistent always. It's like a couple of ingredients that you need on a daily basis. And it really is, well, it has a lot to do with your environment. You know, the North nodes shift their signs, and right now for you guys, it moved from your 12th to your 6th, and it's now in your 11th and your 5th house. You know, so that is definitely indicating that, okay, we're taking a deeper look at what the company that we keep. With the Wheel of Fortune, it's like you're understanding, you're seeing it from a different perspective. Here again, Queen of Wands. Everything you try to master, you will master. You will master it. Everything you engage in, you master it. It's like a leadership position, it's a leader role. You have the Empress, the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands. It's your feminine energy, which is highly spiritual as well. So much cards that just keeps on rolling out. It's like it's 2 of Cups with the Ace of Pentacles, with the 7 of Cups, 5 of Wands, the Magician, and the Page of Cups. Every single time someone is trying to steer you off the path, you know how to naturally put yourself back in your center. You gotta trust that, Gemini. In times when you really feel like this, like the 7 of Swords, it's like, oh, sorry, 10 of Swords, 7 of Cups. It's in those times that you get reminded of who you really truly are and the abilities that you have. You are so freaking resilient, Gemini. It's like you just do rebirth after rebirth after rebirth, like the Scorpio, but mutable way. Not when it's really the true only thing. And your whole life is forcing you to do that rebirth, to change your ways, because you just simply can no longer do anything else but that. A Scorpio can go on and on and on and on and on and on until it just, you know, everything comes to a halt. And that's when they feel emotions. That's when they work toward. That's when it's at its highest, and then they rebuild again. They start again. But with you guys, it's this feeling, and this side of you. There's all of a sudden just brings about this change, and it's like a shock to you even. But it's like, no, we're not doing this. When you were just doing that, like for 7 days straight, and then you wake up on the 8th day, you're like, no. Today, I'm not going to do it. And you don't do it. And then you don't do it the next day, and you don't do it the day after. And you're like, okay, this is not new normal. We're flowing again. It's like, trust that. That's something that is magical within you. And maybe you've been ridiculed for it. Like maybe they feel like you're wishy-washy, or you're like not consistent, or whatever. No, it's like it's the thing that saves you. It's the thing that puts you in that position to be that person and that role in society, in people's lives. It's that thing that makes you so special. And there's no other sign like that, Gemini. They wish, but they're not. You know. So I'm gonna leave it at this, because I'm also gonna show for your August reading. So we're just going to try and get some fresh energy into it. But this is definitely a message that wanted to find you, and just put you up on this way. You know, this new North Node cycle that we're in. You're going to work with this. You're going to see this return, but you're also going to build this new connection with your own center. And it's like more and more, and becomes more and more important, more and more easy accessible for you guys. And it's almost like, you know, it's like when we have tools in the house and we just have them lying all over the place. Like often when we have this little thing we need to do, the big part of that job is actually finding that hammer or finding that screwdriver. It's like that's kind of way more work than actually doing that little thing that you want to do. And sometimes we don't even end up doing because we can't find the screwdriver, we can't find the hammer, we can't find the things, you know. So the thing is that you're gaining sort of the center is like you have a toolbox now, and like everything has a space, and you know exactly where it is. So the moment where something happens and it needs help or it needs fixing or needs, you just walk straight up to the toolbox, you open it up, you have the hammer, you have the screwdriver, you have the right size, you know, the bit size that you need for that particular screw, and you do it, you know. So that's that inner work, sorry, that recentering work. It becomes more easy accessible for you energetically, and you see about a lot of change. You see about a lot of consistency in your growth, on your finances, yeah, in your finances, in your friendship, in your love life, your relationship with children if you have them, and it just flows better. That doesn't mean your life is just, once again, sunshine, roses, and butterflies. It's not what we're looking for. It's like, can we find ways to not have to leave this space in order to deal with all life's tribulations and things like that? Don't have to attack ourselves in order to function in an attacking environment. It's like when we attack ourselves first, we can't really feel that attacked by other people. It's like, no, it's like, you can't even treat me worse than I'm treating myself already, so what you gonna do now? It's like, you know, it's coping mechanisms, but those don't get you the results that you are worthy of and that you've worked so hard for. Steady but consistent, and it's continued to grow. Gets you way farther than just a quick thing and then something else, and it's like, it's a lot. The duality is going with that, and it's a process. You don't have to get it all right in one go. It's just a process, you know. You're figuring out where's the best location for this toolbox. You're going to figure that out. All right, Gemini, that's your reading for July. I hope there was something in there for you guys. Just a quick reminder to hit the like button because it helps the channel. I never asked for this, but I'm just gonna give it a go. But thank you. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll be back soon, Gemini. Bye.